Hello and good morning and welcome to Fantasy Friday with Roz and Joe. Today we're going to take a look at the best performers from last week and take a look through the ins and outs of Game Week 25, the upcoming game week starting tonight. Who should you be buying? Who should you be selling? Get in the comments with your views and any fantasy picks or options you have. Alongside me, Fantasy Football's Wizard of Roz. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Got my coffee, ready to go.
Lovely stuff. Okay. Any quick highlights you want to give from last week or over the last game week? You know, anything you want to mention about how many points you got and how many points I got or anything like that?
I can't remember if you got more than me. I'm guessing by the fact that you've asked me that you got more than me. Is that what happened?
Well, we'll wait and see. Well, let's have a look, shall we, in the show. First up, though, we're going to go through the kings of the game week. The kings of the game week. Here they are. So, in goal, Edison, 14 points. Across the back, Ola Aina, Matt Loughton, Issa Diop, and Anderson, also a Fulham, 20, 17, 13, and 13. Aubameyang, 20 points. Gundogan, 19. Bernardo Silva, 15. Neves, 13. Up front, Jay Rodriguez, 16. And Josh Maja, 15. Straight in there, a king of the game week. How about that for Josh Maja?
I love it.
Yeah.
I also love that it's king of the game week. It was like, as the FA, like, the copyrighted man of the match in this country. Why they tried to do their own, like, cool thing, like, the king of the match.
I think it's because it's something to do with the Budweiser sponsorship. So it's like, you know, the Budweiser, the king of beers. Do you ever remember those adverts where they used to take the bottle cap and turn it upside down on the head of the bottle and it looked like it was a crown? And I guess that's what they're doing. Is that they're not turning football players upside down. Anyway, let's so if you like what you're seeing, you can like this video, subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode of this. We've got lots of shows coming up over the weekend, our game week preview tomorrow, and our main show with Mus and a guest, hopefully we'll see on Sunday. So yeah, if you like it, get in the comments, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and allow notifications. Okay, we've had a look at the kings of the game week, Roz. Now I'm going to talk you through this week's fixtures and next week's fixtures, actually. So tonight, Wolves Leeds at 8 o'clock. I'm sure you'll be looking forward to watching Leeds. Then Saturday, you got Southampton, Chelsea, Burnley, West Brom, Liverpool, Everton, all big one, Merseyside derby, and Fulham, Sheffield United. Then on Sunday, it's West Ham, Spurs, Villa, Leicester, Arsenal, Man City, another big one, and then Man United, Newcastle. Monday night football is Brighton, Crystal Palace. The what do they call it? The M3 derby or something like that. And then they're actually rivals. Remember, we get to that tomorrow. Yeah. And then on Tuesday night, Leeds and Southampton. So double game week for Leeds, double game week for Southampton. This week's fixtures. Let's have a look at next week's fixtures as well while we're on the subject, just so we can get an idea of who's going to be good to keep long term, who's a good one to get rid of. So next week, Man City, West Ham, West Brom, Brighton, Leeds, Villa, then Newcastle take on Wolves, and on Sunday, Crystal Palace host Fulham, Leicester host Arsenal at the King Power, Spurs take on Burnley, Chelsea, Man United, Sheffield United, Liverpool, and Monday night football is Everton, Southampton. So, bearing all of those fixtures in mind, Roz, Leeds and Southampton have a double game week. Is there any value in having any Leeds or Southampton players in your team?
100%. The one I'd go for is probably Patrick Bamford. I'm sure he'll score in at least one of those two fixtures. Southampton, Danny Ings scored a cracking goal in the last game week. Seems to be kind of finding his form in front of goal again. So I would shout out those two. On top of that, Jack Harrison and Rafinha, of course.
Okay, so you're saying sort of attacking players for Leeds and Southampton, not so much the defensive side. I mean, Southampton, I don't know. They're home to Chelsea and then away to Everton.
Yeah, and also defensively, I mean, they've pretty much got their first choice defence back now. We saw Bertrand, Kyle Walker-Peters, Vestergaard, and Bednarek. Just want to talk quickly about Bednarek because he's having an absolute mare. I'm really seriously considering transferring him out. Did wonders for me in the first half of the season. In his last 3 game weeks, he's played 90 minutes in almost all of them, apart from when he got sent off. He got -7, 0, and 0. It's got to be like the worst run in fantasy football history.
I'll tell you what, while we're on that subject, should we have a look at your team from last week? So here it is. 73 points. Nick Pope in goal. Ben Mee, captain. Ruben Dias, John Stones and James Tarkowski. Midfield, you went for Sigurdsson, Sterling and Fernandes. Cavani up top with Richarlison and Vardy. First thing I'm going to say is, what a massive shout going for Ben Mee as captain. And I feel so sorry for you that it didn't work out and he only played 1 game.
And he was actually okay to play the second game. Sean Dyche said that it was a concussion precaution. The Ben Mee was sort of doing a bit of light training, felt absolutely fine. Kind of wanted to make a statement about the whole concussion thing, so I thought it was best to kind of leave him out there. But yeah, absolutely gutted, and would have bagged me a few more points than he did.
Yeah. So the second thing that sticks out to me is Anderson on the bench. 13 points, one of the kings of the game week, and he didn't make it into the team. It's one of those, isn't it?
But you know what? What's even worse is that my initial draft, I don't know if other people do this, but I sort of do one at the beginning of the week so I kind of don't forget. Then I'll do another one on Friday if there are any injuries, then I'll make some transfers, and eventually I'll get to my final one. Second to last draft that I did, I benched Cavani and had Anderson because he had 2 games, and thought,
oh no,
are Fulham likely to get 2 clean? Whereas Cavani liked to score.
Yeah.
So yeah, gutted about that one.
Well, you would have had more than 73 points. And talking of more than 73 points, let's have a look at my team. I also had Cavani up top and Bamford, who both drew blanks for me, but my points came, well, mainly from Man City lads. Ederson in goal, 14. Cancelo got 8. I had Azpilicueta and Ben Mee, 6 each. Wan-Bissaka 2. Across the midfield, Sterling 7, Fernandes 18 as captain. Maddison 8, Grealish 2, Bamford 2, Cavani 2. I had 14 points on the bench, which is a bit annoying, but you know, I've got 75 points overall, so I'm happy with that. I mean, I'm never going to catch you in the league, I don't think, but I'll just take these little wins each game week. If I get more than you, then I'm happy.
I mean, that is a little win, isn't it? You say 75, and I got 73.
3.
Yeah. Well done. Nice. It was Wan-Bissaka difference.
Get off your horse.
Is that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the genius drafting him in?
Oh,
those 2 points that just kicked it. Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka, eh? Okay. So, I mean, what's your advice for me then, Roz? Who should I get out? Who should I get in? There's a warning on Cavani saying that he's potentially not going to feature against who are they playing again? God, lost my against Newcastle. Yeah.
So there are a few injuries like that. You'd probably fancy Cavani against Newcastle, and in a way that, you know, there are sort of these kind of historic fixtures that you feel are going to be high-scoring games, even though none of the players are the same players as the ones that played in the last high-scoring game.
I nearly just knocked my coffee over. Sorry.
Man United
Yeah.
tends to be quite a good game, and Man United tend to kind of ship you past them. I think it was when in Kevin Keegan's second stint, I think he lost something like 6-1 and 5-0 in the 2 games.
Love it.
Against Man United. He did not love it. But I'd imagine Man United will hopefully Man United fans make light work of Newcastle. So it's whether you gamble with Cavani. It's also whether you gamble with Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the Merseyside derby there.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of Man United and Newcastle, in terms of Man United and Newcastle, the last 2 times they played, Man United won 4-1 on both occasions. So when you're talking lots of goals, I think that's a good little marker. Rashford scored in both. Is there value in Rashford? I mean, he played almost the whole game last night in the Europa.
Yeah.
But, you know, is he going to feature on Sunday? Do you think there's value in getting him in the team?
He's only a young lad. I'm sure he can do a couple of games in a couple of games in a week. Yeah, and I don't think he didn't come up with any knocks or anything like that. I can't remember the last time that Solskjaer didn't start Rashford actually. Usually he sort of maybe a year ago would sort of juggle him and Martial and James and kind of switch them up. I think Rashford's played pretty consistently in the last few weeks.
Yeah,
and I expect him to start for Newcastle.
it's true, isn't it? He has nailed him. He's sort of nailed down that shirt in Ollie's United team. Okay, so let's go back to your team then. So who are you going to be? Who are you going to be drafting in? What sort of player are you looking to bring in, and what kind of? Without giving too much away, I know you don't like to give it away in case people in our leagues are watching. But what do you reckon?
Yeah, so I'm obviously not looking at any of these players. If I was to get a Southampton player, it would be Danny Ings. I don't think there's too much value in going for anyone else there. Maybe James Ward-Prowse, who's in the form of his life.
Interesting.
And in that England conversation, which is exciting for him. Again, that's sort of having feelings about games. I was trying to find some statistics on this earlier.
Yeah.
I always feel like Harry Kane does very well against West Ham. And I looked up and he's got 11 in 16, which is pretty decent. So I'm considering him as captain.
Yeah.
In terms of drafting in, Tottenham have a pretty good run in the next 5 or 6 games. So I'm looking to those defenders.
Yeah,
I'll just
run you through Tottenham's next fixtures. They've got West Ham away, followed by Burnley at home the next 2 weeks. Then Crystal Palace home, then Arsenal away. But then crucially, they don't have a game on game week 29. So it's worth bearing that in mind. If you've got a few good matches to put Spurs players in, but then you've got to think about that game week rest, and they're not going to have a game on that week. So, and I think that might be due to the League Cup, the Carabao Cup final. I'm not sure, but anyway.
Yeah, it's because unlike Arsenal, they've reached the cup final.
All right, mate. Jesus Christ. That was nice.
No, I think even with that in mind, what's that? 4 games on the trot that you'd expect them to win comfortably, and then was the 5th, or the last one was Arsenal, which is the derby. So it's always worth putting the players in because they'll be riled up.
Yeah.
For that match. So I'm thinking Tottenham defenders in that run-in. The likes of Ben Davis has been fairly consistent lately. Davison Sanchez less so. But, your Toby Alderweireld's, your Serge Aurier's, those kind of players.
Serge Aurier's. Okay, right. What a lovely point to move on from then. So who are you thinking captain-wise? I mean, you mentioned Harry Kane maybe as a captain there. Who would you be recommending to kind of other fantasy managers as a good captain choice? Maybe could you give us a couple of options, or maybe a few options, a bit of a wild card one, maybe a bit of a safe bet, and I'll drag up the fixtures on the screen so we can sort of look at who's playing who and stuff.
Well, I think for a safe bet, it's got to be Bruno Fernandes. Scored a couple last night in the Europa League, and he's a safe bet because he's in a sensational form. He's also a safe bet because I reckon most other players will pick him as their captain against Newcastle there. So even if he doesn't have a great game week, it's likely that the majority of your league will have him as well, and they'll drop points as well.
Yeah.
So it's a safe bet because you're matching other people. In terms of other good bets, I would go for Pat Bamford and Danny Ings. Probably more Bamford than Ings. I think their fixtures are more favourable with that double game week. And yeah, Harry Kane. I've just got a feeling he might get a couple of goals in that West Ham game.
Yeah. So okay, good shouts there. So you got Bruno Fernandes, Harry Kane, and I guess your wild card is I mean, it's a bit of a wild card is Pat Bamford. My wild card captain pick, Josh Madger.
That's a great one, actually. I was meant to say that earlier.
At home
the
to
second game week, they've got Crystal Palace, is it?
yeah, they're at home this week to
And
Sheffield United, and then next week away to Palace. You've got to think if Fulham are going to get any points from any games, it's these two games. They're crucial to their bid for survival, but also they've got, like you said on EPLW on Thursday night. They've on Wednesday night. They've found a natural goal scorer in Josh Madger, and he could be the one. Surely everything is going to go through him. So if you really want to push the boat out and try and I don't know, upset the apple cart, stick Josh Madger captain. That's what I say.
It's great because obviously Scott Parker's a South East London lad, and you rarely get sort of people talking about South East London as, you know, that kind of hard work ethic. You know, it's usually a sort of like a northern club thing where they're like, oh, we've got a local lad in Yorkshire and he's doing the job for me.
Yeah.
Scott Parker sort of turned to South East London. He's turned to Lewisham. He said, this is what I need. None of this kind of West London nonsense where they're all into their fashion. I need a goal scorer. I need someone with a bit of grit. I need a Lewisham boy.
I need a Lewisham boy. Go on the Lewisham boys. Josh Madger. Josh Madger for president.
How much is he, out of interest?
How much is Josh Madger? That's a really good question. I'm just going to have a look. You do like to catch me out on these things, don't you?
Can I just quickly tangent on the South East London thing?
Yeah, go on.
Did you see that there was someone like simulated a Football Manager game? And what they did is they drafted all the players to the nearest club that they were born.
Ah, I heard about this.
UK players. And so Trent Alexander-Arnold would still be at Liverpool. However, Ruben Loftus-Cheek wouldn't be at Chelsea. He'd be in South East London. And basically moved them all around. And then simulated the season to see, or was it 5 seasons, to see who would win the league. Guess who won the league, Joe?
Oh, I should have known where this was going from the beginning.
I'll give you a quick hint. The side featured Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It featured Jadon Sancho.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It featured Tammy Abraham, I think.
Mate, you've got to just
the only one that was actually a decent Premier-looking side.
Let it go. You've got to let it go. I mean, well, it must have been Charlton, obviously, but you know, let it go.
I mean, Charlton were actually quite good. I think Charlton were top 10 maybe, but it was the mighty Millwall.
I'll tell you
Which
who else.
Which just goes to show that our scouting system is abysmal.
Well, yeah, it's true.
Go.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, right? Charlton, Millwall, and Palace. While we're on South East London and South London, they have great resources and great players at their disposal. And I think the fact is they're all small clubs, and the clubs like Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, when they come calling for these youngsters at a very young age, they go straight off. Like Emil Smith Rowe, the Croydon De Bruyne. You know, he's from Croydon.
Yeah.
So he was probably playing for Palace, was he, in that simulation?
Certainly 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe 10 years ago, I would say Charlton, you know, the Academy of Football, like West Ham used to claim they were. Charlton had some absolutely brilliant. I mean, Joe Gomez for Liverpool, obviously injured at the moment.
They've got a little production line. They always had, you know, Scotty Parker. You know, they had a lot of good play. You know, they brought Darren Bent through. There's a lot of anyway, we're going way off track here. Another South Londoner, by the way, Lewisham lad, Brockley, Ian Wright, top lad.
Is that just a bit of Ian Wright appreciation?
Yeah, mate. Ian Wright, if you're watching, I love you.
He would have been born a stone's throw from where I am now. So,
oh, really? Are you giving up? Are you telling everyone where your location is? All of the viewers will be round.
I'm telling Ian Wright where my location is, so you can kind of come and give me a hug.
Oh.
He's also a Millwall fan.
Okay, so you asked me how much Josh Madger cost. So, 5.5 million. What a bargain!
Yeah.
And if you're like me and you like your bargain strikers, see, I don't like going big on strikers because they have to get goals. And if you've got, Aguero or Kane, you're and they don't score, that's a big no-no. But if you've got the likes of, you know, I'll go for Ollie Watkins and Pat Bamford. They're my favourites this year so far. I think Josh Madger might be sneaking into my team. I've talked myself into it. Anyway, I think that probably concludes our chat, doesn't it? Have you got anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Okay, well, in that case, it's goodbye from the Wizard of Roz.
Yeah.
And it's goodbye from Dorothy. See you next time. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. for our game week preview. Good luck with your fantasy football, and maybe we'll reveal who we transferred in and out tomorrow. All right, see you later, guys. Cheers.